How's everybody doing out there today? I don't have too much to say. You know, I'm just excited to be here. I still pinch myself every day when I wake up. I can't believe this fight's really about to happen. I mean, everybody who knows me know I've been chasing Bernard for about 3 years now. I always wanted this fight. And it was funny when I lost to Pascal, which was one of my worst nights in boxing. 2 days later, I think, Bernard called out Pascal and said he wanted the Pascal fight. I mean, I was hurt because, you know, that was the fight I wanted for so long. And he got the fight. It was a great fight. The first fight was a good fight. I thought Bernard won the first fight. The second fight, Bernard dominated him. But, you know, like I said, on that night, that wasn't Chad Dawson. I'm a different person. No more. I'm problem-free. I'm stress-free. My life is great. I just had a new baby boy on Monday morning. My son Prince is here. I got four little boys at home to take care of. So I mean, to me, this is all or nothing. You know. So I'm going into this like, you know, it's the end of my career, end of my life. So I mean, this side of the table, the believers, you know, they can believe all you want, but believing what you can do. But on October 15th, you have to get in the ring. You have to show everybody what you can really do. And on the 15th, I'm going to get in the ring, and I'm really going to show everybody I'm better than Bernard Hopkins. I'm one of the best fighters in the world. And you know, and as far as this fight goes, and the build-up and anticipation, you know, it's great and all. You know, some people say they don't think it's pay-per-view, meant for pay-per-view. It's not made for pay-per-view, but on October 15th, it's going to be my night. And, you know, can nobody take nothing away from me. Bernard, nobody. At this side of the table, I'm not worried about that side of the table. I'm worried about what I'm going to do to get ready for this fight. I'm worried about the 15th when they put the belts around my waist. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say to the world. Everybody who doubted me, who put me down when I lost to Pascal. Everybody who said I wasn't a big puncher. Everybody who said I was a boring fighter. Everybody. I'm bringing all of that into the ring on October 15th. Believe me. Thank you.
Chad said he got 4 sons, and I respect people's family, but this is going to be a rated R fight. What's going to happen in the ring, I don't think kids will watch it, especially his, because this could be painful, could be traumatizing. Seriously. Therapy comes into play. A lot of things happen when young people don't understand why this is happening to somebody they love. It's part of our business. It's not personal. But I have to prove, which I don't mind, over and over again, why I say I'm special. I don't need the writers, I don't need anybody saying that. I expect the compliments, but at the end of the day, I said this then and I'll say it now. For those who've been writing about me for many, many years, understand and know for a fact, loud and clear, I have always said that I'm a show. And time now reveals that. But I'm looking to put on a great show. I'm looking to defend the title. I got another mission. Believe it or not, I have another historic record-breaking itch on my shoulders. To my knowledge, Doug Fisher can correct me if I'm wrong, I might be off 1 or 2. Archie Moore won a championship at light heavyweight at 47, maybe 48. I think I'm around about close. And I believe he defended it successfully over 3 or 4 times. Now this is the second time I've been down this road. I've been light heavyweight champion once before, undisputed. And this is the second time around. I didn't put life back in the division of light heavyweight division. It stalled when I left, or when Joe Galzaki won the title. So I'm glad that now we get a chance to fight, and we get a chance to prove that be careful what you ask for. I believe I'm a better fighter than I was 2-3 years ago. I believe if I know that if Chad Dawson come with everything he just said just now, y'all gonna get every bit of that $55 or $50 I gotta pay. If you're home, if you come, y'all gonna get every bit of it, because that was a preview of the last 2 fights with Jean Pascal. One thing about being great, Chad, because Gary already knows, he's been in his business for a long time. As he said, we know each other over 10 years. He mentioned something, and I listen what people say. He tells you how they think and how they feel most of the time. Doesn't necessarily give you a whole report card. And he said something, and this is something I always pay attention to. And I know when people say something just to throw you off, or say something just to say something, just to say it. But he was right. He wanted to say why he didn't look his best that night. Maybe that's true. But one thing about great champions, amongst fighters or amongst just having a championship belt. That's one thing to have a belt. There's so many out there. Y'all know it's 5 belts in each division, maybe 6, right, Doug? Okay. So be champion is okay, but you don't raise your eyebrows up too much because you got to do above and beyond that now. But he mentioned that the reason, sort of, or he hinted around that the reason that he looked bad that night because he had a lot of problems. You know how many times I fought with problems? I used good and bad to realize that the fight can be still won, even though it might be personal, even though it might be you got a flat tire, your dog ran off the lawn and got hit. At the end of the day, that's what separates certain mentalities and certain great athletes. From the Michael Jordans, from this guy, from Bernard Hopkins, from this era, from Ray Robinson from that era, Hagler from that era, Ali from his era, 60s. Because to me, I'm not going to say real fighters because he is a real fighter. But that's the separation between his mentality and my mentality. I don't care where I go through. It could be a storm. I'm going to transform that into energy to take care of my business that night. Even personal, non-personal, I don't care what it is. It doesn't affect what I have to do. Now, as far as chumps or champs, Gary Shaw tried to correct you and said there's no chumps as long as they step in the ring and fight. There is a correction with that. There are chumps. But I believe that anybody that's signed to go in there to fight, start off as a champion, as far as having a heart to do it. That's a different type of champion. But you become a chump when you don't do what you say. You become a chump when you go in there and you get hit and don't get up, knowing that you can. See, you go in there, you get a pass. It's called points. You start off with points because you had enough courage to get in the ring, but it takes a lot to go through adversity and don't become a chump. So I wanted to not bail you out, but I wanted to give Gary my definition that chump do exist in boxing, even though you're a fighter. You just don't get a pass and get the green light because you just happen to get your license and say you got a couple of fights. There's going to be times in a fight where you're going to have to separate yourself, whether you're a champion, a fighter, or a chump. And lately in boxing, not mentioning names, we've seen a lot of chumps. If it's not Chad Dawson who has to prove that he belongs here, and I'm have to prove that I'm special over and over again, and I don't mind that, then October 15th, I won't disappoint you. I don't want to disappoint you, and I just don't want this man to disappoint you either. Why? Because I can be a great dancer, but if my partner ain't dancing with me, y'all, I'm gonna step on his feet or he gonna step on mine. So to make a good fight, because I don't want to look like a bully. I don't want no one out there saying, oh, you know, Bernard was in the penitentiary, he's beating the guy, he's scaring the guy, he's getting in the guy's head. If somebody get in your head, because now that's an excuse for some people to say that I've accomplished things that I accomplished because Bernard got in a fighter's head, and that's how he won the fight. Well, if somebody can get in your head, then you're not a real fighter. If a fighter can get in your head and win and dictate the fight without throwing a punch, then how can you call yourself a fighter? How can you call yourself anything if somebody can beat you out of a championship without touching you? I know how I feel. He says how he feel. Fine. But I'm not backing up, and he's going to have to fight, and he never seen anything like this before. Trust me. He's going to tell you this. He's never seen anything in that ring. Outside is deceiving. But in that ring, he's going to see what a teacher means. Without mentioning no names, no blame. That just because you step in the ring with Bernard, you might learn something, but you might not have anything left to show. There are some fighters, no name, no blame, that even though they learned something, they never recuperated mentally. See, I beat you in the ring mentally, and then physically it's going to happen. But mentally, I take something out of you that you will never be the same. That's the risk he takes.